jerseys of the Super League clubs and the Northern Four Premiership clubs on show as well. And the true supporters of the game are here tonight to see this match between these two proud rugby playing nations. And isn't that great to see? They are rugby league fans till I die. And that's the message, I think, that goes out from Wrexham tonight. So here are the Welsh, the last victory over England, 1816, Ninian Park, Cardiff, February 1995. England, no England player has ever scored 4 tries in an international. Martin Offiah got 4 against France in 1996. Let's take a check on the way the two sides line up. Beginning with Wales, they have Mark Lennon of Castleford at fullback, Damien Gibson of Halifax, Jason Critchley of Whitehaven, Martin Pearson of Wakefield, Jason Lee of Halifax, and Lee Breers of Warrington, with Barry Eaton of Dewsbury at scrum half. And the forward pack, Keith Mason of Wakefield, Ian Watson of Widnes, David Whittle of Lee, Chris Morley of Lee, Dean Busby of Warrington, and Kieran Cunningham, the captain of St Helens. And on the bench, Widnes's Paul Aitchison, London's Stefan Hughes, Gareth Dean of Wigan, and Gareth Price of St Helens, and Neil Kelly, the victorious Widnes Vikings coach, is the new Welsh coach. Now the English, and this is a very formidable side. Paul Wellens of St Helens, Leon Price of Bradford, Chris Radlinski of Wigan, Keith Senior of Leeds, Chev Walker of Leeds. It's Paul Sculthorpe of St Helens alongside Paul Deacon of Bradford, the halfback. And the forwards, Paul Anderson of Bradford, Terry Newton of Wigan, Brian McDermott, 31 on his England debut. Jamie Peacock of Bradford and Kevin Sinfield of Leeds in the second row. It's Andrew Farrell of Wigan, the captain, and loose forward. And the substitutes, Carl Pratt of Leeds, Paul King of Hull, Nathan Sykes of Castleford, and Lee Radford of the Bradford Bulls. And the coach, an Australian in charge of the England national side, and the Great Britain coach, of course, David Waite. So an emotional moment for the players and the coaches, and indeed the managers, as they emerge from the dressing room. And whenever you pull on the jersey of your chosen country, it's a proud evening. And out they come. Wales against England here at the racecourse ground. So, Wales, England, the firecrackers up in the crystal clear blue sky. Manager of England is Chris Hamilton. David Waite is the coach. And in number 13 alongside is his captain, Andrew Farrell. And what a proud moment for Kel Coslett, the new Welsh manager. And Neil Kelly, of course, the new Welsh coach. Some tradition here, Steve-O, for everybody to live up to.
Certainly is, and I can assure you the pride that will be pounding across each of these players' chests will be enormous, and rightly so. There is no greater feeling. You can win as many trophies and as many medals as you like, but the moment you pull on your national jumper is something to behold. The emotion is tremendous. It often upsets quite a few players. Many players just take to it so easy. They make it look casual, but I can assure you the nerves will be jingling in even the most experienced of players out there.
Councillor Mrs. Mewis, the Mayor of Wrexham, is being presented to each and every one of the players. Behind her there is the very familiar figure of Mike Nicholas, who is the Welsh Rugby League representative here tonight. Greg McCallum, the Executive Director of Rugby, is there. So too is Clive Griffiths, I notice, and that's a nice touch. He is being introduced to the players. He'll need no introduction to the men he's about to shake hands with. And also, of course, there, the chairman of the Rugby Football League, Sir Rodney Walker.
Well, he's done so much for the Welsh, hasn't he, Clive Griffiths, and it is a very good moment for him. And whilst all the dignitaries are being introduced, The thoughts of the players, I can assure you, is to get this out of the way as quickly as possible. I do know that it is a tradition, and I wouldn't want to change it. But they just want to get on with things. They want to get into that first couple of minutes where they can really either create havoc, just get into the swing of things. First tackle always counts. First time you touch the football. Pressure is enormous, Eddie.
Well, it's a nice moment this for all the Welsh to be reintroduced to their former manager, Mike Nicholas, who is still very much involved in the Welsh national side, and their former coach, Clive Griffiths, and the old and the new guy there shaking hands. They were together in the World Cup. And Councillor Mrs. Mewes now meets the referee, Thierry Alibert. The reserve official is Steve Ganson. Well, any minute now we will hear from the United Cooperative Band of Crew, who are here, who will be playing the national anthem. And after all this, eventually we will get the game underway. As Steve-O says, they are pretty touchy moments for the players, but right now the national anthems. Land of hope and glory for the English. Well, that was respectfully observed in most corners of the ground. And now we wait for the Welsh. Well, plenty there to stir the passion. Wales against England were about to get underway. Thierry Alibert of France is our big match referee. And the band depart the scene, the schoolboys who have had hold of the flag. The scene is about to be set, and we're about to get underway with Wales against England, International Rugby League, and the countdown to the Ashes series is now well and truly underway. The initial 32-man squad will be announced on Thursday, and everyone on this field tonight knows that there are places up for grabs.
32 in the squad, as Eddie has just reminded us, will be selected by David Waite for the Great Britain squad, and the man who's about to kick off, Lee Briers, certainly will be in the back of his mind.
So Lee Briers gets us in motion. It's a difficult kick-off, and the Welsh have it.
Obstruction though, they took a man out, not in possession of the football. It was a good kick-off, they allowed it to bounce, but they certainly took out. You see Deacon having problems with it. But it was definitely taken out there by the big prop forward.
Keith Mason.
Keith Mason makes his first impact. Well, we said it was going to be fireworks, and he's a big guy, is Keith Mason, and he made the impact there.
England then in possession. It might have been the other way had that challenge not come in, but that's good defence on Brian McDermott. And David Whittle there with the bald head. He was all over the top of McDermott. And Farrell's ball to the left-hand side, and Kevin Sinfield. Deacon with the kick into the shadows over there, and picked up here by Jason Lee.
Good option there. You could see the lengthening shadows. The sun will be a problem for the Welsh side in the opening 10-15 minutes.
The English won the toss, Steve-O, and
that's
Andy
what they
Farrell,
were looking at.
Yeah, Andy Farrell said we'll play into that to begin with. This is David Whittle now. Sculthorpe there very quickly, and also Jamie Peacock.
Well, I must say, Eddie, from the kick-off, the Welsh have, well, they've stated their intentions. They want to mix it. They perhaps realise they can't match it with this English outfit for speed out wide, but they certainly will work hard in the forwards, that is for sure.
Yes, they will, and here now comes Martin Pearson. That's the last tackle. It's with Briers. His kicking game will be so important tonight, and it will turn England around this. That's a good kick, and it's Chev Walker who picks it up, and that's terrific Welsh defence.
Stuff. Just what the doctor ordered, and the doctor being from Wales, of course. The kick was superb from Lee Briers. Shades of that semi-final against the might of the Australians. It was Briers that controlled things out in the park, and he's doing it again. He's carrying on where he left off in that semi-final. What a night it was for him there.
Over the shoulder of Whittle, and the ball went backwards, says the referee, so it's play on. And Whittle drives it in, but is met pretty firmly by the Bradford two of the awesome foursome, McDermott and Anderson. Of course, if you look down the Welsh side, there are a smattering of Northern Four Premiership players on view here tonight. It is a huge ask for them, but this fellow is the catalyst for Wales tonight, Kieran Cunningham. So too is Briers. He gets the ball wide, and that's good to Eaton, and Eaton then looks for the runner. It's Chris Morley.
Pretty solid basic football, and that's no frill stuff. That's what they need.
And he slipped the net there as Lennon, and Lennon is hauled down by Kevin Sinfield.
Good speed off the mark as well.
It's the last tackle here, and Briers with the angle kick.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you that Barry Eaton was hunting that, and it was only the English boot that got rid of it.
Beautiful cross the post. Oh, and Sinfield came to the rescue. Little Dewsbury halfback Barry Eaton. David Waite already knows that he's under pressure, being the first ever National Rugby League coach from Australia. That in itself has stirred a few feathers, and oh, talking of stirring the feathers, that was a big hit from Terry Newton.
Second goal line dropout for England, and Wales then with more possession and more territory. It's a wonderful start for the Welsh. Scampering away from dummy half is Ian Watson, and he gets it away to Pearson, and Pearson nearly ducked underneath the challenge of Bradlinski. Also there was Brian McDermott. It's hurt there, Pearson, gets groggily to his feet. Watson to Briers. Briers then, good ball back on the inside to Dean Busby, his Warrington teammate. They're keeping the ball alive, they have the man on the overlap. They've gone the other way though, this is Morley. And Morley is hauled down by Sculthorpe.
Morley looking for the second phase, just wasn't coming at the time, but what a great build-up.
Good ball, And a chance here is over. He has, Jason Lee. The referee, though, will hand it on for video clarification.
This will only be confirmation. He got the ball down, did Lee. They got underneath him, but that is a try. That's TRY for anybody's mind. What a start. It was a great build-up, fully deserved. Whoa, they're on fire.
Try for the Welsh, Jason Lee, the scorer of Halifax. He began at Warrington 7 years ago. And what a start for Wales. What a start for Neil Kelly. They lead 4-0.
Very slow at the marking position. They allowed the hooker to switch the ball back onto Eaton, and the strength did the rest. Very slow first and second. Look at that. Sculthorpe was the only one that shaded across. There was no one on the second marker at all. And Jason Lee has sent the Welsh crowd absolutely ecstatic. Beautiful play there. Watson back onto Eaton. And that had to be finished. Boy, is he excited, and rightly so.
It must seem a long time ago since he made his debut as a substitute in Cardiff in 1994. He knows where the try line is, does this fellow. Over 90 tries in his 7-year career. And England, well, if they turned up here believing they were in for a bit of a cakewalk, they've just had the wake-up call. And Lee Briers, well, what a match he had in that semi-final at Huddersfield against Australia in the World Cup. And he can add the conversion here and give Wales an absolute dream start. David Waite and Brian Noble alongside him. They have problems early. Briers with the conversion attempt. It's 6-0 to the Welsh.
Very slow defence by the English, and you see they pulled across. Watson back on the inside. Beautiful switch of play. Bang. Short pass. What a try.
Jason Lee, his 5th cap, 30 years of age. And the Welsh on their own line now with their captain Cunningham. And he gets the ball wide, and this is Jason Critchley. And Chev Walker was the man who got the tackle in on him. The dummy half was Damien Gibson.
Well, the experience of Jason Critchley will have to show, especially in the first half, just settle a few things down. But the tactics by this Welsh outfit is absolutely superb. They're running from dummy half, getting metres gain, and I'm afraid the English first and second markers are poor. They've got, oh, that's forward, it went back. Oh, that could have gone either way. Well,
it's forward, it went backwards, and it could have gone either way. Well, it did.
It did.
Here's Briers on the halfway line under pressure from Deacon, but he's still got a good kick in. And will that skip away? No. Wellens decides to run the ball back, and the Welsh defence has arrived in numbers, and Wellens takes a tumble. Clive Griffiths will be as proud as anyone to see what's going on out there.
Well, the biggest problem for the English side, of course, is that they've had very little possession. Well, the first real chance to attack.
Well, they have possession now, and as you say, their first chance really to examine this Welsh defence, who really are getting into the faces of the opposition, and possession in the opposition half. England yet to get in the Welsh half, and they're still yet to get in the Welsh half. This is the last tackle. It's now with Deacon, and he floats it wide to Radlinski, who puts the kick in down the line, but that will run far too deep and runs dead in goal.
Good pressure by the Welsh defence. They knew that Deacon had set himself up to be the first receiver of the football to put the kick in. They got into his face, then he had to farm it out wide. And not the best in the end.
Well, before the match, we were all looking down the record books and seeing England's record victory, 74-6 against Russia in last year's World Cup at Knowsley Road. And the doubters were saying that perhaps it was a night for a record-breaking English score, but Wales 6-0 is a terrific start, and oh, he was nearly through Lennon. That was a diving tackle on him by Peacock, and they are buoyed by this start, the Welsh.
That's the second time that Lennon showed his speed off the mark. And again, this English defence, just all at sea at the moment, but this is a reason the kick from Briers. Oh, he's come up with a mistake. That'll be the knock-on.
Chev Walker Wellens cleared up, but Walker missed it. And the teenager, who had a wow of a World Cup, has come up with a blunder on his own line.
That is a bad mistake. He really didn't bend down enough. Oh, that was an awful effort, I'm afraid. And I think even Chev Walker, to be the first to admit, he has not had the best of seasons. But you could see there, he did not want to bend his back. You've got to!
Briers!
Oh, where was the support there? Through the dummy half-back was there. Good job that Wellens got to him.
Pearson, the dummy half. This is Keith Mason now. Wellens tackles him with help from Sculthorpe. And that's Ian Watson. He fires the pass to Kieran Cunningham. It's unusual to see Cunningham in 13. Another knock-on. Another knock-on, this time by Keith Senior.
Well, they just can't get into the swing of things. They've only had possession once of England. You can see their Senior coming up with yet another mistake. But so hesitant in the defensive line. It certainly won't be pleasing their coach, David Waite.
Overwhelming favourites, England. The bookies, who rarely get it wrong, gave England a 49-point start tonight.
Well, I did say before the game kicked off that if England and their coach, David Waite there, thinks that the Welsh are just going to lie down, let them have a runaway victory, they've got something coming to them.
Great tackle by Radlinski on Martin Pearson.
Whether the Welsh can last the full 80 minutes will be interesting to see. Oh, that's a swinger from Anderson.
Yes, Jason Lee would have felt that. Good movement, though, from the Welsh. Here's Dave Whittle. He had a great World Cup until he was injured and had to leave the competition. A chance here from dummy half. Was that Ian Watson scampering towards the line? It was. Now then, the fullback Lennon. He's got a great step on him, Lennon. And that's going to back to 6 again. He wipes the tackle count down. This is Barry Eaton. And England are in real strife here. They've got so many problems. And Mason just is hauled back from the line.
Good strong play by the forwards.
Watson again. Barry Eaton. It goes wide to Lee Briers. Briers holds on, gives it to Cunningham. Cunningham dances away from Sinfield, flicks it out the back door. This is Jason Critchley. We think that Jason Critchley becomes the first man from Whitehaven tonight to play for Wales. That's something that he will take with him to retirement when it eventually comes. But England are allowing the Welsh to run at them.
Again and again, they're just hesitating, hanging back. They've got to move forward, apply that pressure, and they're not.
Eaton to Briers, a little stab through. Walker is there.
Oh,
there's a try!
I can't believe
Walker's allowed it to go.
What a mistake. He'll go for the screen, but I think they've got there.
Was it? It was Gibson.
No doubt about this is going to be T.R. White. What on earth was Chev Walker thinking of? That is control pressure, and this will be T.R. White.
Well, is he onside? That's another question, surely. Maybe they're happy with it. It looks like they are. This will be a try. I'm sure it will. It is. Damien Gibson. Second try for Wales. So much pressure. Such spirit in this Welsh camp. Neil Kelly has picked up the baton where Clyde Griffiths left off. And what a week it's turning into for Neil Kelly.
Dream start, but you have to point the finger at Walker. What on earth was he doing there? And look at Paul Wellens, have a look at him. Mark Lennon, he's been a thorn in their side. It came off the big prop forward, Paul Anderson, and didn't they take full advantage? Beautifully weighted kick, but this is not international standard from Walker. He just allowed that. Well, he came up with a mistake earlier, but to stand there and allow the ball to just bobble in the in-goal area is a sin.
Well, he was dozing, but Damien Gibson wasn't. And Chev Walker, who was such a wow in the World Cup, and that's a huge blunder, and Briers here now with the opportunity to make it 12-0, unbelievably. He's just pushed it the wrong side of the puck, and look at the agony on Briers' face. He knows that that could well be a very important kick at the end of the day.
Well, look how close Walker was to that football. Gibson was about 2 meters behind him. That, well, that's atrocious.
He should have leathered it into the stands,
that is not international standard, Eddie.
Well, England have been caught napping by the Welsh. They are trailing here 10-0, but the Welsh are winning the match and winning it on merit at the moment. Here's Jason Lee, scorer of the first try, and he gets the penalty.
Newton far too high. The Frenchman's pretty keen. He's got hold of them there. Jason Lee, the try scorer, the first one for the Welsh side. Bit of frustration just creeping into the English camp.
Well, look at the work that England are having to do in the tackling, because it's all been Wales from the very first minute here.
Well, the English are coming up with far too many mistakes. And with headers like that, well, this has been a dream start for Neil Kelly, but I wonder what on earth is going through the mind of David Waite.
Well, Neil Kelly coming into this match with 15 straight wins behind him at Widnes. Won the grand final on Saturday, and so Widnes now knocking on the door of Super League. Terrific run from Kieran Cunningham, still not put to ground. He's still not put to ground. What a run from Cunningham.
That's the way to lead by example.
It's with Briers now, and Briers has coached it through them. Briers is going to score. What a try for Lee Briers. A drop of the shoulder one way. The entire English defence went with it. David Waite has got problems here mounting. Well, it's like we've turned the clock back to the World Cup semi-final, and the underdogs, Wales, have rocked England to their roots. And the conference begins, and what must Iestyn Harris be thinking about all this? Lee Briers with the try. It's 14-0.
GB, they're the two letters in this guy's mind. That was excellent play, and again, awful defence. You cannot just hang around and see what he's going to do. Throw the dummy through the step, had the speed, left them absolutely standing. Took it on the half volley. See you later, Newton. Boom. I'm in. Oh! Who would have thought it?
Well, I seem to remember us saying that at Huddersfield when they played Australia in that World Cup semi-final. And Briers, well, he was the man who sorted that out that night for an hour. And here he is now with the opportunity to make it 16-0. And we caught a glimpse there of the England skipper, Andrew Farrell. Not impressed. 16-0. Well, don't pinch yourself. This really is happening.
There's Newton disappearing. Briers, the step. He has the speed. Well, I'm proud to be an Englishman, but you can't take it away from the Welsh. They really have got off to a flying start, but I want to shout out something out down to those guys in white. Wake up.
Yes, they haven't got going. Mind you, the Welsh haven't allowed them to get going. And here is the first change. That's Gareth Dean on for David Whittle. That's his first touch. Gareth Dean of Wigan, born in Pontypridd, a product of the Cardiff Demons Academy, and he's been at Wigan for the last 3 years.
But these Welsh forwards, Eddie, they may be the lesser lights, but I tell you what, they are showing so much pride and strength. Good, solid, basic football. That went backwards.
No, knock on against Dean. His second touch, not the best.
That appeared to go backwards for mine. I'm not the merry whistleblower.
Well, he'll be annoyed about that, and so will his coach Neil Kelly. Now, let's see how Wales can defend. This is Wellens for England.
Well, what a Philip, 16 points to start with, and then saying, hey, come on. This has been a real bonus, and we've earned all those points the hard way. Let's not just give it away by silly mistakes like that.
And they've swooped on it, have the Welsh, and away goes Pearson. Wellens, though, is very quick.
He had to be as well. Wellens did exceptionally well. You could see there that Sculthorpe took his eye off the football. Another simple error, and not forced either.
Well, I thought we might see the mettle of the Welsh in defence. We didn't have to. They have the ball back, and they're on halfway on the second tackle, this set of sixes. Busby plays the ball to his hooker, Watson, who finds Eaton.
They're sharing the work out of the Welsh. They're doing it ever so well. There are forwards out there eager to look for that work as well.
And that's a great kick. bouncing around, and Wellens gets it, but look at the chase in the red jerseys.
Superb. Well, we knew they'd play with pride. They always do, especially in their homeland.
And this now is Leon Price of the Bradford Bulls. Played the ball, and Newton with a good run. He gets it away to Walker. Oh, and Walker has dropped it.
He's having a nightmare. Well, he spurned the opportunity to go on that academy tour, and you could see he tried to offload in an impossible situation at a time when England need to control things.
Wonder what thoughts are going through David Waite's mind. David Waite taking over from John Keir. He is a 1973 Kangaroo, 6 tests as a winger before injury ended his career. One of the brightest coaches in the world, and England and Great Britain snared him, but this is not the greatest start to someone's coaching career with the international setup. And he will have lots of critics, Steve, are waiting to just pick off the bones if this turns into an English defeat.
Well, you can't blame the coach at this point in time, because it's the players out there who are coming up with the mistakes. And you can't expect to win any rugby league game. And the Welsh are doing it right.
Well, you know,
well, look at the young Mason there, Keith Mason. He's working. He wants to work. He wants to run onto the football. England are just standing around.
And Watson examined the defence again then. Briers wants it once more. And a little dab again. Wellens sweeps up this time. England trying to counter with the fullback.
Good option, but it took the skills of Paul Wellens there to read it. Now then, just calm things down, make sure they get a good kick and chase, get into the swing of things, just go back to basics. Don't try to do anything fancy. All right, you're 16 points adrift, there's plenty of time, patience has to be a key.
Anderson, that's a good run, this will lift England. Terrific run from Anderson, they can't pull him down.
Fantastic, that's what's needed.
Newton's in a dummy half, that's lifted the English spirits. Here's Farrell, it goes wide to Keith Senior. Senior coming back on the inside, back it goes then, and here is a chance for the second rower, Kevin Sinfield. Oh, he played the ball from a horizontal position, the French referee allowing it to go off.
Too strong.
That's an awful kick.
He knows it too. Only years and years of experience. This was a run by the big fella, Paul Anderson. And if ever a forward needed to show that he could do exactly what his opposites have been doing, and that's look for work, get through some work.
Okay.
Welsh player down in the background. They're down to 12 at the moment.
And Paul Anderson, he takes a breather, and Nathan Sykes of Castleford comes on for him. And the referee says that's a knock-on against Gareth Dean. He's claiming the ball was pinched from him.
Well,
no, it came off the knee, that's all.
It was an accident, that's all. Certainly no interference. I think he gave himself away by the fact that he stopped, hoping that he'd get the penalty.
Only the second handling error from the Welsh, though. England have made 6.
Well, that's a bit harsh to call that a handling error, was it? He came off the opposition knee.
Deacon feeds the scrum, gets the ball away. Here's Sculthorpe. Good tackling there by Mark Lennon. Quick play the ball from England. Wellens to Farrell. Farrell trying to cut inside. Busby there and Cunningham, formidable opponents. And here now is Paul King of Hull. He's opposite, he's either prop forward or hooker for Hull this year. Sculthorpe on to Deacon. Deacon then to the runner, Peacock! Peacock scores, and Peacock picks up his England international career where he left off in the World Cup. 6 tries in the World Cup for England for Jamie Peacock, and something there for David Waite to think about. Try number 7 for the Bradford second row.
Only the second opportunity. They've utilised and conjured up something. You see the dummy runner coming through. It was Nathan Sykes to utilise a combination of the 2 halfbacks out to Deacon. And you could see how Sykes just came in on the angle. It was sufficient to leave the gap, and Peacock gleefully accepted it. And that will be one heck of a relief, not only for the English players, but for their coach, David Waite.
Yes, he was England's leading scorer in the World Cup. and Andrew Farrell. 310 points in the Super League, 5 tries in his last 4. Kieran Cunningham goes off the field and takes a breather, but what a start he has given his country here. Now his opposite number, the captain of England, Andrew Farrell, to add the extras, and Farrell doesn't miss those. His 29th goal for England. It's Wales 16, England 6.
There you see Morley. He expects that it's Sykes going to get it, but outside, coming on the angle. Bump. Not really much of a shepherd. That's what they were claiming for, but Peacock gleefully accepts it. Boy, oh boy. The English national side needed that. The Phillip that was needed desperately. Not the best start by England, and he knows it too, as the skipper. They have not had much possession, brought about most of it by bad handling.
Deep kick-off from Breers. Underneath it, Paul King. Aitchison's on for Cunningham. And here now is Nathan Sykes of Castleford. 25 minutes gone, Wales 16, England 6. Great Britain manager Phil Clark's on the sideline. Food for thought, Philip.
Well, an almost perfect first 20 minutes from the Welsh side, and I think that tonight Lee Breers has shown to so many people in the game just what they've thought from the years he's had. He is a world-class player. His kicking game has been fantastic. It got his side 2 repeated sets of possession from the English goal line dropouts, and really that put the pressure on and gave them the field position to get those points. Magnificent start, and as Steve-O has already pointed out, I think Keith Mason's had a fantastic first 20 minutes.
And the fullback Lennon couldn't take that in. He just shepherded over the dead ball line. This will be a goal line dropout for the Welsh. If he'd have caught that, it would have been oh so different. It would have been a tap on the 20-metre line. He would have diffused the bomb. As it is, he's lit the fuse.
That's the first real mistake from Mark Lennon, who's had an outstanding first 26 minutes.
On his international debut as well. And his mum recommended him to Castleford. And apparently his brother is in the crowd tonight. He's come all the way from Australia to watch him.
That was a big hit. And Mason fell off it, to his full credit, bounced back up. And this is what England's got to do. They've got to repeat.
It's Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe showed it and dummied his way to the line. Terrific try from Paul Sculthorpe. He's been doing that all year for St Helens, and a little shake of the head from Neil Kelly. Just almost resigned to the fact that, well, you cannot defend against class like that. A shimmy to the line from Paul Sculthorpe.
Get the momentum going. Poor defence on that occasion. Keith Mason had gone for a big hit before, and it went far too high on Sculthorpe. When you've got to go low on this fella, he knows how to throw the dummy and shimmy through.
Almost a stroll in the park, that, wasn't it?
It certainly was, but it's clear now that the Welsh side have to just calm things down a little bit. They have to somehow stop the momentum that England have suddenly found. Try from Peacock, and barely minutes after Sculthorpe just breezed in.
And Farrell, off the post, and he's missed. It came back. So 16-10. But it's a dangerous time for Wales now. 1 or 2 players have been rotated, and Sculthorpe getting to the pace of it, along with men like Terry Newton, Jamie Peacock.
Well, to be fair, Eddie, it was always going to be a problem in regards to the fact that the Welsh side, they have quite a few from the lower division, Northern Ford Premiership, so the fitness levels, for obvious reasons, not going to be the same as the Super League mob.
I wonder if Sinfield with the drive in, the Welsh still 6 points ahead, but I wonder if the English coaching duo of David Waite and Brian Noble, I wonder if they were panicking at 16-0.
No, I don't think they'd panic, because the fact is that they didn't have possession. The only thing they would have been concerned about was the fact that they were hesitant in defence, and more importantly was the fact that they were coming out with simple errors that weren't put under pressure.
They're trying desperately to slow the English down now, the Welsh. Newton to Farrell, and he's cut them open up the middle. That was a good tackle by Aitchison. And also there too was Ian Watson. Oh, and Morley shot out of the line. Deacon eluded him, a high kick. Well claimed by Jason Lee, and good follow-up by Paul Wellens.
Great take, good tackle.
England now hunting the mistake. Lennon though. Lennon still. Good run from the fullback.
It's been a fine game as this. Good solid work. The Welsh can feel extremely proud of themselves. They have thrown everything at them.
Crowd here at the racecourse ground, and I must say it's a very respectable crowd as well. They are equally split, I think, between the home nation, the Welsh, and the English. Oh, and a mistake there on the far side by Jason Critchley. But he wants to get up and play the ball, but the referee's whistle has blown. It's a knock-on.
Well, the balance of mistakes now turning around. In stanza, it definitely was the English side.
Mr. Alibert is having a good game.
Well, I thought he did exceptionally well in the World Cup last year.
Got a fair bit of tape round that earpiece to his ear as well, hasn't he? I wonder if the match commissioner tonight can speak French. Oh, knock on by Wellens.
Yeah. Not the best passing.
Substitution for England. 17, Lee Radford.
Very lethargic there from Paul Sculthorpe. Remember, we mentioned before the kickoff that David Wade shown his hand in the fact that Paul Wellens would play full back, Rydlinski in the centres, and of course Paul Sculthorpe, more significantly, playing in the standoff position. And just in that passage of play, Eddie, there was rather a bad knock to Terry Newton. He got a bad knock on the hip. He looks to be struggling.
England have made a change, and you saw the Welsh have made a change there as well. That was Gareth Price coming on. It was for Keith Mason. But how many times over the years that we've been together, Steve-O, have we been talking about Wales rocking opposition to their roots?
Well, they produce unknowns at times, and they'll continue to do that. We keep talking about the fact when you put on your national jumper, it can lift you. And there's a few debutants out there that have certainly not let the side down. Well, that's a poor pass. Silly pass when really they should have been closing it down and operating the kick, which was so effective.
This
by
is
Lee Briers.
Lee Radford now, though, for England. It's a decade since the Welsh team was brought out of mothballs in 1991, and we saw them take on Papua New Guinea. And there's been some wonderful moments over the past 10 years, and we've been with them, I think, just about every step of the way.
We sure have, and none better than that semi-final against the might of the Aussies in last year's World Cup. That was a brilliant performance.
Farrell onto Deacon. Deacon showed it, and they haven't got to him, and you've really got to close little Paul Deacon down. He's not a regular in the Bradford side yet, but it won't be long. Beautiful ball out the back to Sculthorpe. On it goes from Rydlinski to Deacon. Rydlinski gets it back, and the Super League leading try scorer is hauled down just 1.5 meters short of the line. Newton the dummy half. Good work though at marker from Ian Watson. Ball has come free though. Sculthorpe, it's still the last, says the referee. Sculthorpe gets the ball away off the deck. Farrell.
The kick.
Farrell, no, they're running it. Now the kick. The kick from Radford to the in-goal area, and well, he took the gamble, did Damien Gibson, but it came off for him.
Well, to be fair, he was shepherded it all the way. Made sure that his body was as wide as it could be.
Kieran Cunningham is going to come back.
They've just lost their way a little bit of the Welsh side, mainly due to the fact they've come up with a few errors. And they've never had the opportunity to utilise the Lee Briers kicking game, which was so influential in that opening 20 minutes.
Interesting that Cunningham's come on for Ian Watson, so presumably Kieran will operate in his usual role of dummy half and hooker, and there he was, who got the ball away to Aitchison. Paul Aitchison, who won the Northern Four Premiership Grand Final with the Vikings at the weekend. This is Cunningham now. He gets it away to Critchley, and there's a little bit of space here for Gibson, and they've missed him, Senior. Good ball inside. And a great ankle tap on Jason Critchley, but Wales are rolling forward again. Mark Lennon on his international debut. Hauled down.
What
England.
a game this guy's having.
England with all hands to the pumps. Cunningham, he's returned and he's sparked Wales immediately. Breers gets it to Pearson. Try! Second try, Jason Lee. Neil Kelly threw the ace back on Kieran Cunningham, and immediately the tempo was upped. And Jason Lee with the try, he stretches the Welsh lead. Lennon was involved in the heart of it, and look at the faces on the Welsh. They're enjoying every minute of this, and why shouldn't they be? As soon as Cunningham came on, though, the Welsh lifted visibly.
Well, you put this down as one of the tries of the season so far. Kept it Critchley, and Gibson made the break. Superb, kept his cool, back on the inside. Critchley did ever so well. He knew that the tackle is complete. And the step from Lennon, and then Pearson just fed out wide. They're getting caught yet again. This is outstanding rugby league football. Little wonder that this crowd here are applauding. They're on their feet. This is quality. Beautiful hands. That's international standard.
Jason Lee of Halifax began at Warrington. First capped, as we've said, against the Aussies in 1994. What a week this is turning into for Neil Kelly. And, well, I think that picture tells its own story. David Waite on the left, Brian Noble of the Bradford Bulls on the right. They are not impressed. So Breers with this conversion attempt. And he's kicked it, you know. Lee Breers has kicked another. 22 points to 10. The Welsh in the box seat.
There's a simple equation in rugby league football. Create the overlap, and you can see there that Price left in no man's land. As soon as Pearson offloaded, Lee in for try number 2. But that was just outstanding rugby league football. Lee Breers in the action yet again. All started, of course, from the enthusiastic run and the determination from Kieran Cunningham not to give up possession. Went back on the blind side. Critchley said it all. Gibson made the 40 metres downfield. That was outstanding.
So less than 4 minutes to go to half-time, and 22 points to 10. Well, you could have won a lot of money tonight if you'd had a little sniff at the Welsh. And look at that, 11-4 in the breaks. Wales are bossing this. Steve-O, I would say, if you look down the English side, this must be, he'll be proud, Clive Griffiths, even though he's no longer involved.
You're on.
If you look down the English side, this has got to be the nucleus of the Great Britain side to face Australia.
One would expect so.
You've got to be concerned.
One would expect so, and we mentioned, didn't we? I'm not saying that we told you so, but the fact that you know, the English just couldn't go out there and say, well, we're the stars, and this fella has just been outstanding. Oh, I mentioned it earlier, 10 minutes into the game, in fact, when his kicking game was already becoming influential, is the fact that he had that GB going through his mind. They can't leave him out after this performance.
Leon Price. Ball down.
The first real chance we've seen of Leon Price. That's how good the Welsh defence has been. They really have punched in on the angle and forced England down the centre.
Sculthorpe to his feet, plays the ball to Newton. Newton then in field to Peacock again, and Peacock gets it away to Newton. That's wonderful work from the scrum half, Barry Eaton. Sykes was the dummy half, Deacon. It comes back on the inside, and this is Paul King. Ball has come away to Newton, off the deck, and Deacon, and he saw a gap. Tries to give it some width to Peacock. Peacock then right to Radlinski. Here is Leon Price.
Oh, great stuff. Did well, did Price there.
Pearson stopped him, stopped the momentum, and then the 3 more closed in for the kill. And Price is hurt. Plays the ball to Radlinski on one leg almost. Deacon now. and it's with Farrell. And Farrell flicks the ball out, and Wales have got it back, and it's with Breers.
Well, they've just shut down Andrew Farrell so easy. Now then, did a hand get to it? No, it certainly didn't. Andy Farrell was trying to spin in the tackle and offload. And Lee Breers looks as though he's picked up a knock there.
Well, that will be a worry for Wales and for Warrington. And Leon Price on the other side of the field is receiving treatment. That's a worry for England and for Bradford.
He tried to go underneath there and just perhaps caught a stray knee.
Yes,
well, I must
he's
say,
back on his feet.
What a great week it's been for Neil Kelly, but full credit to this Welsh coach. He's come up with a great tactics. Good kicking game, applying the pressure. Okay, a couple of occasions they've just dropped off in their defensive pattern. But apart from that, when Peacock and Sculthorpe went through for tries, he's got to be overjoyed with what they've displayed in this first half.
Down the short side goes Kieran Cunningham again. They work the ball in field to Breers, and Breers goes for a drop goal.
Too low.
No, he's given it.
Ooh, I thought that went underneath the bar.
Well, that was my first impression as
That's
well.
a controversial decision by the Frenchman.
Monsieur Alibert was right underneath the bar. Now then. Oh, he's absolutely right.
Well done.
Does it? Yes.
Yeah.
Creeps over. Monsieur Alibert absolutely right.
What great camera work. Super stuff, no doubt in his mind as well.
23 points to 10. England looking to get something up to half-time, and we're now at the half-time break. And Wales are ahead, 23-10. And you will remember, if you take your mind back to Huddersfield in the World Cup semi-final, it was Wales 20, Australia 10 at half-time. Here, it is even better for the Welsh. They lead by 23 points to 10. It has been a wonderful half for the men with the Welsh Dragon on their chests. And such spirit in the Welsh camp. And England's coach, David Waite, they have something to build on. But Neil Kelly in there already. Well, he's come into this match with 15 straight wins behind him with Widnes in the Northern Fort Premiership. But 23 points to 10, not even Neil Kelly, I'm sure, would really deep down have expected that scoreline after the first half of this international. But the Welsh have rocked the English. There is no doubt about that. And it's the Welsh who have a 13-point advantage. Fantastic.
There's even more live football coming our way next season. An extra 6 Premier League games. That's 66 games in all. Live and interactive, only on Sky Sports. And that's not all. There's even more live games with Premiership Plus. An extra 40, yes, 40 live matches on Sky Box Office. You can enjoy these extra games with the Premiership Plus season tickets, available now for just £60. That's £1.50 a game. A special price if you're a Sky Sports subscriber in a Sky Digital home.
And for a short time only, we're offering £10 off. To buy your Premiership Plus season ticket, call 08705 160 160 or see Channel 433.
Do you guys want some ice?
The more I see you, the more I want you.
Oh, don't worry, mate. Let me get you another one.
What's Jamie playing at? Not normally this helpful.
Jules, I want to get you some orange, sweetheart.
Sainsbury's have 100 new Taste the Difference products. They're so delicious, you might find them irresistible too.
So what's for dessert? Oh, mixed berries with some Sainsbury's cream tea ice cream.
Sainsbury's, making life taste better.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. La 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 la, close to you.
Our low electricity prices are now even lower. Whatever it is, nearly 2 million people have come back home to British Gas.
the taxman doesn't get his hands on my savings.
Always wanted to see this. So I took a break from paying my pension.
1 million members lean on Royal Liver. And with no outside shareholders, no one leans on us for profits.
It's nice to have something to fall back on, just in case.
For tax-free savings, flexible pensions and insurance, lean on the Liver.
Travelling by rail hasn't been easy recently, for any of us. But now all Britain's rail companies are pulling together to return you to a national rail network you can depend on, returning you to fast and frequent services, returning you to comfort. The National Rail Network. It's time to return.
Get Britain's best-selling MPV for 11,980 with air conditioning. The Citroën Zara Picasso. Free your mind.
There's more live football coming up for you tomorrow night. The champions of England take on the champions of Scotland. It's Ryan Giggs' testimonial. Man United against Celtic, live from Old Trafford tomorrow night from 7 o'clock only on Sky Sports Extra. Well, no, you're not dreaming. That really is the scoreline here at the Racecourse Ground, Wrexham. Wales are ahead, and it's Brian Noble, I don't know, maybe significantly, in the England dressing room, with David Waite, the coach of England, leaning against the door there with Graham Stedman. But it's Brian Noble who is leading the inquest and conducting the team talk during the half-time interval. I wonder what is being said in this dressing room. Neil Kelly. Well, I think if he waved a magic wand, anything could happen for Neil Kelly at the moment. He is certainly dipped in gold, isn't he? 15 straight wins behind him, and here he is in his international debut and leading England by 13 points. Take a look at the statistics. Low penalty count. England 113 tackles to 76. Well, the missed tackles are levelling themselves up now, but 12 breaks from the Welsh and 14 runs from dummy half. And remember, Kieran Cunningham began this match at loose forward, but he's operating now at hooker. Watson, McDermott, I suppose, inevitably, but Ian Watson leading the tackle count. Mark Lennon's breaks have been so significant, haven't they? And Kieran Cunningham, 3 offloads. Well, how many times in 10 years that we have been following the Welsh since they were reborn in 1991 have we enjoyed matches like this? The most immediate, of course, was that World Cup semi-final at Huddersfield when the Welsh led the mighty Australians, the world champions, by 20 points to 10. Well, they've done an even better job on the English. They lead 23-10. But Steve, is there anything we should read into that half-time scene we've seen inside the England dressing room? Is that normal for David Waite, that he lets his assistant do the talking?
Yeah, it's an Australian way. I mean, Brian does know the players. David Waite, of course, he'll know the technical matters that they want changing in that second half. He knows that they have been outplayed in that first half, mainly because the Welsh have played as a team. The forwards have done their work, led by the young Mason. They made their intentions felt early, didn't they? They got right into him. They really went into him. They really got stuck into the English players, and they struggled, to be fair. And it was the intention from the kicking game from Lee Briers. He was outstanding, especially in the open 20 minutes. And then Jason Lee back on the inside, and Watson. That is great effort. Wonderful play there. Combination. And look at this. Well, I'm sorry. This is awful. This is not international standard from Chev Walker. It was a gift for Gibson. They were all at sea. Briers took this well, and look at the dummy here. That is woeful defence. They are not working as a unit. They don't know whether they're doing a sliding defence or whether man-on-man marking. Thankfully, It took the combination of the two half-backs and Sykes running the dummy runner to allow Peacock in, and that was a relief for the English camp. And then the strength from Sculthorpe, one of the few occasions that the Welsh defence just fell away. And maybe, until this. They don't come much better than this. Critchley, after good work from Cunningham, and Gibson's break back on the inside. Critchley again, then we saw the step from Lennon, and from there the link. Create the overlap, suck in the winger, that's what Pearson did, and Lee in for try number 2. And wasn't this a cracker? Look at the time and the space that Lee Briers had to add that vital 1 point. Okay, now before this game started, perhaps everyone was thinking that they would win easy, England, and that the Welsh would run out of steam. Okay, there is another 40 minutes, but I tell you what, they are playing with so much pride and passion, something that I'm afraid the English are not doing. I'm afraid a few of those English egos, after we bounced around the dressing room, come out and do some hard work.
Well, that looked like exactly what Brian Noble was doing, didn't it, in the dressing room? But David Waite's turn now. There he is. He is having his say. And, well, he is the England coach. He's also the Great Britain coach. We have the Great Britain manager sitting on the sideline, Phil Clark. Phil, I mentioned during the commentary to Steve-O that this England side really is the nucleus of the Great Britain team that will face Australia in the autumn. Should we be worried that the Welsh have outplayed them to such a degree?
I think we should focus more on the fact that it's a fantastic international rugby league game, and we're treated to some wonderful skill on both sides. I think the fact that Wales have spent 18 minutes in the English half really just demonstrates the field position they've played, and hence the benefit they've taken from that. But really, one or two of the English guys will certainly need to buck up in the second half. David Waite's spoken so often, and we've seen him on our show on the midweek when he talks about players are given an opportunity. The English guys are, as he said, first in the block, but the Welsh guys are taking theirs and making their mark really for a chance of playing in the Great Britain side.
Phil, we've seen some English seasoned players, and they really have not come up to scratch, have they? I mean, some of the mistakes, unforced errors, that is not international standard.
You're exactly right, and the beauty about international rugby league, it doesn't really matter about reputation, it matters about doing it for those 80 minutes. They go so quickly at international level, and you've just got to take the chances, and the Welsh side are playing magnificently. You've talked about Neil Kelly. He seems to have the knack to raise his side for the performance, and at the moment it's the performance of their lives for many of the Welsh players. If they can hang on to that, well, it'll be a fantastic win for them. The English need to improve. They've tried to change one or two things. Andy Farrell playing particularly just on the left, Sculthorpe on the right. They've not really had the service or the ball in which to do much with it in attack, and in defence, well, they've come up with quite a few errors.
Phil, Chev Walker is having a nightmare. Would you substitute him?
That's a pretty tough call, isn't it? I don't think at this stage, bear in mind what this is about, and then the Great Britain test match against France in October is preparing for that first test against Australia on the 3rd of November. So whether you think, right, he deserves a little bit more time, really, he's a very young player, he must learn from his mistakes, and I would stick with him for a little while longer. I mean, the outcome of tonight is probably not too important, really, with my single-minded approach to the Test series, the Ashes series against Australia in November, and really, crucially, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's a fair comment, Phil. Thanks very much indeed. Well, you may remember in that World Cup, we celebrated a wonderful Welsh defeat. I wonder whether we're going to celebrate a wonderful Welsh victory here at the racecourse ground. The sun is setting here in North Wales. We are just over the border in North Wales, but we are here, and the Welsh on their own turf, well, they really do produce a shock or two. They have the players out there, Briers running the show, and Jason Lee for Great Britain. What about that?
Do you guys want some ice?
The more I see, the more I want you.
Oh, don't worry, mate. Let me get you another one.
What's Jamie playing at? Not normally this helpful.
Jules, I'll get you some orange, sweetheart.
Sainsbury's have 100 new Taste the Difference products. They're so delicious, you might find them irresistible too.
So what's for dessert? Oh, mixed berries with some Sainsbury's cream tea ice cream.
Sainsbury's, making life taste better.
John West endured the worst to bring you the best.
Basically,
He grabbed me and took hold of me. Cancer spreads and it develops fast. My lung was infested with a tumour. I was told that it was malignant. I have had to have a major operation and they have taken the lung away. And this is all due to smoking. That white little stick that you put in your mouth. And at 34, you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't be going through this.
If you want to stop smoking, call 0800 169 0169.
Life here is very different. So many choices. So many questions. Why can't life be simpler?
At Alliance and Leicester, we asked the same question and came up with the Premier account. A great new current account that also gives you preferential rates on many of our other products. So, you don't have to shop around. Alliance and Leicester, making questions count.
Five. Come, let's go see Grandad. Oh. I'll just let him know we're coming. Shh. He's engaged. We'll go anyway.
Oh, look at this tie.
If only he'd known about free BT Answer 1571. To activate, call 0800 003 800.
Alpha 147, 3-door and now 5-door.
Wednesday night action.
You're the boy I've been looking for.
You mean the Great White Hope?
In the underworld of illegal boxing.
Hey, there's you goats and nosy goats out there. It's war.
There is one rule. Win.
It's a mind game.
James Marshall. Cuba Gooding Jr. Unleashed hell in the ring. Gladiator. Tomorrow at 10 on Sky Movie Max.
Well, we've got 3 more live matches for you coming up this week. Friday, we're at the Jungle to see Castleford Tigers against the World Club champions St Helens. It's Sky Sports 1 from 7:30. On Saturday morning at 10:30, the Northern Eagles take on the Melbourne Storm. We're live from the North Power Stadium on Saturday at 10:30, the latest round from the NRL. And then to round the weekend off for us on Sky Sports, it's Warrington against Bradford, 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 3. We're live at Wilderspool, and Warrington-Bradford, well, tip that one at your peril. Tip this one at your peril. Wales 23, England 10. That's the shock scoreline from Wrexham. And the English have been rocked to their boots. And they have come all the way from Spain to see this match. They are Welsh fans. They come from Zaragoza, and they are here to cheer on the Welsh. I don't know whether that news has got through to Kieran Cunningham and the boys, that they have a collection of fans in España, but boy oh boy, something has spurred them on tonight. And Cunningham and Breers here, they are the two who are running the show for Neil Kelly's side. Now, what have England got in this second half? Has the half-time talk from first Brian Noble and then David Waite, has it sparked England to a revival? They've got to get off to an early start in this second half, one would think. And Bill Arthur is checking out what was said in the dressing rooms by the various coaches. We'll be with him in a moment. It's Cunningham now, and another punishing run from dummy half from the Welsh captain, but that's better English defence.
Play as a unit, I'm sure that's what Brian Noble and David Waite would have said. This is a 40-20 attempt. Not going to make it, but good tactics yet again. I thought the Welsh kicking game in the first half through Lee Briers was just something out of the top drawer. Outstanding.
That's Carl Pratt, by the way, and I think Carl Pratt has replaced Shep Walker, and Steve-O was talking to Phil Clark during the half-time interval whether he would take Walker off because he hasn't had the happiest of 40 minutes, and David Waite and Brian Noble have made the decision to withdraw the Leeds youngster and replace him with Carl Pratt. This, though, is Terry Newton now. Terrific run up the middle, but it was Cunningham who got to him. And
he
Cunningham,
could have been penalised there, Cunningham.
He really could.
He was messing around.
Just trying to slow England up. This is Farrell.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that Shep Walker has been taken off. He didn't play well in the first 40 minutes. It hasn't been the best of seasons for him.
A high kick from Sculthorpe here, and it's touched by the Welsh. It's going to be back to 6, this. Yes, the referee wipes the tackle count down. Here goes Radlinski.
Well spotted by Thierry Alibert.
Couldn't get hold of it, Jason Lee. So England on the attack here with Deacon. And Deacon couldn't get the pass away. Paul King was hunting the opportunity on his right shoulder.
Good work from Gareth Price.
Here is Farrell. And Farrell early showed 2 dummies, and he fancied the chance himself, but he's held up just short of the line. Newton at dummy half. Will he plunder one? No. Gives it width to Deacon. It goes wide then to Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe sees the gap again. And that's good defence once more from Wales. 3 tackles gone. Can England unlock this Welsh defence, this set of 6? Newton. That's 4, 2 more to go. Can the Welsh hold on?
Good work from Barry Eaton, went right underneath the hook. It had to be.
Good run from King, he's over. Paul King is over, but the referee gives it to the video referee to decide.
He wants to see if it's a double movement, but I think he got it in one.
Well, King is on his international debut.
Oh, that's a double movement. That has not bounced over. Stop there, and that's a move, maybe. Did the ball carrying arm hit the deck? That's what the video referee will look at. I think it has. I think this will be no try. It'll be a double movement, I feel. But I'm not the video referee. That is the end of the tackle for mine, and then he slides it over. N-O-T-R-Y. Looking at it again.
Or is momentum taking him there?
No, I think he actually moves the shoulder. I think it was short to start with. I'm going to go on it, N-O-T-R-Y.
Well, the video referee is Ray Tennant tonight, and he has made his decision. And the try is denied. It is a double movement. Penalty kick to the defence. And Neil Kelly applauds that decision. Now there's a let-off for the Welsh. It was touch and go, could have been 50-50, but the video referee took your opinion.
No, he'd already made his opinion without any help from myself. I get into enough trouble as it is, Eddie, without you trying to point out that he's been listening to me. Sad faces on the coaching staff, on the English camp. Good work, though, by Paul King, but it was good scrambling defence that prevented it.
Well, that would have been the start that England were looking for. I wonder what was said in those dressing rooms during the break. Bill Arthur has all the answers.
Fantastic start to this second half for Wales. England denied the try, and Neil Kelly, the Wales coach, delighted with the first 40 minutes from his side. An unbelievable performance, but he's looking for them to finish the job off. They're halfway there. They were halfway there against Australia and couldn't hang on in. This time, their desire is there to complete the job against the English. Desire is the word that David Waite and his coaching team have used in their half-time talk, because there was a complete lack of it in the first 40 minutes, and he really does want an improved attitude from this England side as Chris Radlinski takes that ball.
Yes, Radlinski now operating at full-back, or at least he was then.
I think you'll get a better performance from Radlinski as well at the full-back. He looked a little bit lost in the centre position. Oh, that's an awful pass.
It was from Newton, and it bounced behind the English players. And he's got the penalty. Penalty, Wellens was hanging on.
She was dipping all the way down there.
And Jason Lee was trying to get to his feet and play the ball quickly.
It was good play, though, by the winger. Quick to get onto that football. That's a difference also between these two sides. The Welsh are eager to go on anything that dropped to the ground. Oh, big hit there.
Paul King
got the shoulder in.
And Gareth Dean felt it. They go down the short side. That flicked off.
Pass. You could see there that Wellens was well and truly into the face of the winger. Really, that could have been an intercept. Wellens just looking to show that he wasn't going to get anywhere near.
5 minutes gone. England with the possession from the scrum. This is Leon Price.
A little bit more urgency needed in the English camp.
Well, there looks a little bit more of a spring in their step in this second half, the start of it anyway. Over for the try denied by the video referee, and a penalty now to England.
Silly penalty to give away as well. Good ground lost. And the man on your screen there, Andy Farrell, they've kept a pretty tight hold on him.
Good drive in by Lee Radford.
That's what they need.
Newton dummy half. Deacon looks for the runners outside him, and one of them is Peacock. Good defence though from Wales. Now this is another big test of the Welsh defence.
They need a lot more power in the forwards.
Sculthorpe
outplayed in that first 40.
Farrell cuts inside. Cunningham's waiting for him. Ball slipped to Radlinski. Radlinski then to Deacon. It goes further wide to Price. Price comes back infield. He's chinking away, almost falling. Wales scrambling to get to him. Eventually they haul him down. That's tackle number 3. Welsh defence is marshalled. Can they hold on here? Farrell attacking the line. Away from that one, but not from the second effort from Aitchison. And helped out also by Gareth Price. Newton and Deacon spinning it wide to Sculthorpe. Flick pass comes off the chest. Oh, and so nearly Ian Watson was away.
Bad mistake though from Jamie Peacock. Really should have taken that ball. Nothing wrong with the inside pass from Sculthorpe. Interesting to see how David Waite's changed a few things out there. Wellens have gone onto the right wing already. We see Pratt. He's taken over from Walker on the wing. That means that Leon Price has gone into the centres. He obviously wants to see what step and what he can produce, Price, a little bit nearer the action.
Here's Gareth Dean for Wales, and he gets the ball away. It's kept going via Eaton to Breers, and Breers out on the full. But his kicking game was so influential in the first half, and he knows that's a big blunder.
Yeah, it came off the side of the boot. Really wanted it to go right down, and that says it all, doesn't it? As Eddie mentioned, his control in that first stanza was, well, it was top quality, wasn't it? An international standard.
So a big opportunity here for England, and Morley was quickly out of that scrum to thunder Sculthorpe to the ground. On halfway, Newton gets the ball away, and this is a good drive in from Paul King again.
That's better. That's what's needed. Get over the advantage line. Quick play the ball. That's what the Welsh did the first half.
And he bounced out of that one, did Nathan Sykes, but there were 3 more waiting for him. 3 tackles gone, another 3 in the bank for England as Newton scampers forward. Good hands. That was the Wigan connection. Newton, Farrell and Radlinski and Aitchison with a very important tackle. Here's Newton again. There's Farrell, and the dam is broken and England are over. And there is a greater urgency in this England side in this second half. It was what David Waite, I'm sure, called for, his 3rd try for England. But a young man here who's in a rich vein of form.
Good play from Newton. Run from the dummy half, but that was built up by the good play by the set of forwards. Good driving runs, led by King to start with. Quick play the ball, caught the Welsh defence, and Newton had enough room to send the skipper in. Boy, that's a relief.
Well, Andy Farrell, he has scored 5 tries in his last 4 in the Super League for Wigan. He's having his best try-scoring season. And here he is now with the opportunity to claw England back a little. Or a little bit more. Farrell's 6 points, 23 points to 16 now. But the important Lee Breers drop goal means England must score twice.
Well, there you see 4 just very slow to get out of the blocks. And once they sucked in the second rower, it was just an easy run for the loose forward. Chris Morley sucked in, but good work from the hooker, Terry Newton. And as I say, that was all brought about by eager running from the forwards, quick play the ball, more urgency.
Well, David Waite, his coaching pedigree, 3 years at the Newcastle Knights. He guided St George to the 1996 Grand Final and St George Illawarra, the merged club, to the 1999 Grand Final. And now he is charged with taking on England and Great Britain and hopefully winning the Ashes for the first time in over 30 years this autumn against the Australians. And this is, as Phil Clark says, in the overall scheme of things, not as important as that first test, but boy, he would love to get his coaching stint here in this country off to a winning start. Peacock, they haven't got him, they have got him now.
That's better.
It's the last tackle though for England, and they're going to run it here with Deacon, now with Farrell. Wide it goes to Senior. Senior tries to get the ball away to Carl Pratt, and Carl Pratt, that's great defence.
That'll be the handover.
And Carl Pratt saying it's back to one, but it isn't. What a great tackle that was.
Gareth Price, I think it was.
Was it, or was it? Well, okay.
Either way, it was a Welsh shirt that got through. But again, we see the strength of the English forwards starting to dominate now. And it's interesting to see that David Waite's change of tactics as well. The 2 second rowers and the skipper Andy Farrell are playing a lot closer to the play of the ball. In the first half, they were all three of them running out wide. Now they're looking for work, coming just off the first receiver.
Good hit. Terrific hit there by King and Peacock. You felt that, did Mark Lennon.
When you look at that scoreline, how important that field goal from Lee Breers, a man with a chip over the top. Beautiful play!
Come up for him as well! And he called for it, did the winger! Just too deep.
I think he took the wrong option and he knows it.
Well, he had 4 or 5 men in support.
This is outstanding play. Newton, who was in the sweeping position.
To be fair to Breers, Gibson, just out of your picture, called for this.
Well, he had more options, both on the outside and inside, and to add further to their woe, they've conceded a penalty.
Lee Breers, he seems to grow in stature every time he pulls on the Welsh jersey. He loves international football. Outstanding night tonight.
Well, it makes it easier. It makes it easier, Eddie, if you've got a pack in front of you that's going forward and giving you the opportunity, giving you the space.
Well, England are going forward more now. Here's Sculthorpe. Now it's with Paul King. And Wales are hanging off him. That could be fatal. And it is. Try here for Radford. Wales just stood by then and let England run at them. And Iestyn Harris will take the message out from Neil Kelly. Lee Radford on his international debut gets his first try then for his country. Out comes the water carrier Harris with the message from Neil Kelly, and the Welsh have got to regroup quickly.
You don't have to have too much finesse when you're a forward, just hard work, and that's what this guy's done. Paul King, that was a neat little offload. But since he's come off the bench, Paul King has done the work. Through the dummy, good skill. Oh, that is a great effort. Wonderful play. Easy 4 points for Radford, all made about by the wonderful work from Paul King.
Well, he played second row for Yorkshire in the Origin match. Lee Radford, also an Academy international. The big improver under that man there, Brian Noble, this year in Super League. And Farrell to get England back to within a point, which he has. 23-22 at the racecourse now, and Wales with it all to do to halt this England pack, which is starting to get to the pace of it.
More work, more effort. Well, that's neat work there by Paul King. The Hull fans will have liked that. So will that fella, Lee Radford. Well, it's amazing how you can transform it just by hard work, running onto the football. You don't have to have too much skill, just roll your sleeves up. It can be a very, very simple game, rugby league.
And it is similar to that Origin match that I mentioned. You know, Yorkshire ran away with the the match early on. They built up a very big lead, and then Lancashire came back, clawed their way back into the match and won it easily in the end. I wonder whether England are going to do exactly the same here. Paul King, terrific run. Newton now.
And full credit also to Nathan Sykes. They're showing the way.
Radlinski to Sculthorpe. Here's Leon Price. They're keeping the ball alive, England. Looping pass. King again. On to Farrell. Farrell showed it and jinked inside too. Aitchison's round his waist. And he got to him eventually. But England, here they come again with Newton. He looked round for support, gave it to Farrell. Farrell then wide to Sculthorpe. It goes further wide to Wellens. And Wellens, he's got support. Radlinski, though, couldn't get it. That was round his ankles. And Mark Lennon will counter for the Welsh.
Great build-up. Just couldn't pull it in. And you could see it was just dipping. A little bit too low there for Radlinski.
Well, what a match this is. And some of the scribes in the Rugby League press today, they should be hanging their heads in shame because they wrote this game off. And how dare they when Wales take on England? In fact, how dare they when Rugby League is played on an international stage anywhere?
Well, we get used to that, Eddie.
Yeah, but they're getting on the nerves.
I know, and so am I.
This is a little run from Eton. It's now with Breers, and Breers dabs it again, and it's picked up by Pratt. Can they get him over the line? No, that's good work from Pratt. Kept the ball this side of the try line so he can play the ball, but now Wales hunt the mistakes. This is senior. It's a battle royal, this.
This is the first time, really, that Wales has had the opportunity to put that pressure on this English side. The 2 tries, one to Farrell and Radford, has brought them within 1 point. And listen to the crowd here. The atmosphere here, what a great effort from the fans as well.
Well, there's nothing friendly about this international fixture, and the crowd are loving every minute of it, and I hope you are as well. 57 minutes gone. Farrell, great pressure. The kick will be collected by Damien Gibson, and back they come again, the Welsh. Good tackle by Paul Deacon. Oh, he played the ball to nobody, and Newton's away. Good tackle by Lennon.
Oh, they made a real mistake then.
I've not seen that before. Here's Farrell. Out it goes to Pratt, and Pratt's in. Oh, what an error. What an error from the Welsh defence. The ball was played. There was nobody there. And Newton just dropped on it and launched the attack. And his Leeds colleague, Carl Pratt, got over in the corner. And Neil Kelly will be furious. The lead has evaporated. England take the lead for the first time. It's 26-23.
Well, he just played it. There was nobody there. They were very slow indeed. Mark Lennon in the full-back position. He was in 2 minds whether to get there. And from this, they kept the ball alive. It was a good offload there by Farrell in the end. But what a way to lose the lead from such a silly mistake like that. Gibson had lost his boot in the process. Just got up, played the ball, and there was nobody there.
Well, he was just too eager to get a quick play of the ball, but there was nobody stood behind him.
Well, Mark Lennon was in 2 minds whether to stay in that position. There were people coming back, but not quick enough.
Well, Pratt won't be arguing about it.
Well, that's a
he
shame.
Scores on his international debut as well. And now Andy Farrell to add the extras, maybe. And just the wrong side of the post. 23-26, not over yet.
Well, what a way to surrender the lead. You can see there's no one at home. Lack of communications.
So Carl Pratt,
although Damien
marks
Gibson,
his debut with a try.
He's been around long enough. This is the time, Eddie, when you got to go pretend you've got a bit of an injury and you can't get up quickly and that you've been winded, anything. Suspect broken ankle, you name it, just try it. But you know, it's just silly errors like that. England paid the price with quite a few early in this game, but that really will hurt the Welsh outfit.
Well, Carl Pratt hasn't scored for 2 months, but is in fine form for the Leeds Rhinos just the same. King is replaced, as is Peacock, by McDermott and Sinfield. A couple of fresh legs then for England here, and they have visibly lifted in the second half.
Now then, will the heads go down in the Welsh outfit, especially the experienced players out there? Lee Briers, of course, will be no doubt thinking about the... Oh, that's high.
It is. We'll give you the numbers in a moment or two for the man of the match again. But that's Keith Mason, I'm afraid.
Keith Mason, right over the top. Brian McDermott. And the Welsh side just losing their composure a little bit. It was to be expected, of course. We always knew the fitness perhaps on this English side would be superior in the end. But I think it's the manner of which they conceded that try that has really taken it out of them.
Yes, the wind's out of the sails a bit, and they have a lot of defending to do here. As Sculthorpe gets it wide to Radlinski. They're sticking to the task well, though, the Welsh, so far. This is an important phase of the game, I feel. If England score next, they could run away with it in the last 19 minutes. And Anderson's back.
Yeah, they're desperate for possession of the Welsh outfit.
Newton and Deacon, Farrell. The runner was Sinfield. That was almost a header to Pratt. He bounces away from it. The referee says play on. Deacon, McDermott.
Now then, did it come off a Welsh player?
That's
no,
the call.
according to the referee.
Newton, and they've scored, England with Sculthorpe. Second try of the night for Paul Sculthorpe. I think they're breathing a little easier now, the England coaching duo. But Paul Sculthorpe tries in each of his last 5 for St Helens, and Neil Kelly has watched his team go from clear leaders at half-time to now having to come from behind.
Yeah, quite a few of the Welsh defenders now just grasping at thin air. They have given it everything. And I'm afraid the petrol has not only leaked out, it appears to have gone completely dry. The needle is on rock bottom. That was just slow defence, just a simple effort. Sculthorpe over.
Andrew Farrell then to add 2 more points, and he has. It's 32-23 at Wrexham to the English.
Well, full credit to the English for getting back into the swing of things. Just hard work from the forwards, and the skill will do the rest. Obviously against this Welsh side, which is tiring badly. But it's amazing how just something like that, the Gibson thing where he played the ball quickly, no one at home. They raced away. Newton was quick. He pounced on the football, finished up with a try, and it was just the killer blow. But who knows? Will they fight back? Will the dragon roar?
They'll have to really dig deep now. Stefan Hughes of London on for Paul Aitchison. England 10 metres from their own post. And there are the numbers for your man of the match. 09009 10 10 13 in the UK, and Republic of Ireland viewers, it's 15 15 92 35 56. If you get the name right and agree with Steve-O and Phil Clark, you win a couple of grand final tickets for October the 13th. That's when the Tetley Super League has its wonderful climax, the great end to the season, one of the great sporting occasions of the British year now. And like Farrell have graced it a couple of times. This is the last tackle for England, and Sinfield is running it down the short side, and he went down a blind alley, really. That's the turnover.
Well, it's worth a try when you're on the roll. 32-23 in front.
Super League's grand final is Saturday, October the 13th, as I say. It's at Old Trafford. It kicks off at 6:30. You'll see it, of course, live with us on Sky Sports, but to actually be there and experience the big night is a fantastic experience, and it's 0113 244 114 for any information you might require about the big event. Well, 64.5 minutes gone. It's looking a little better for England now, and Phil Clark, the English really have upped the tempo, but what an international we've seen.
fantastic game, and I suppose you're right, really. The difference between England in this second half and the first is they've gone forward with the ball first before they've actually tried to shift it wide, and only really when they've had the Welsh defence on the back foot have they had the joy out wide, and really there has been a difference. Also a marked difference in the speed in which the defensive line's moving forward and putting pressure on the Welsh players when in possession. As we see Breers put a better kick in. One of the differences in this second half has really been the chance that Wales haven't really had possession down near the English line, and it's really been all of the defensive work or just carting the ball out of their own half, really, that they've had to do.
It's McDermott in possession now for England. He lost it, but lost it backwards, so play on. And here's Radlinski again. Must say he glides across the surface. Chris Radlinski. Newton, Anderson, he thunders down the middle again.
Well, we said that a few egos had been bruised in that first half and they needed to lift their game. They certainly have done that. Lot more aggression though, and
Newton.
This guy's been important.
Sculthorpe with a hat-trick. Hat-trick for Paul Sculthorpe, who can do no wrong at the moment. And the St Helens supporters split, of course, with players in either camp. But Paul Sculthorpe with the hat-trick. He made the World Cup semi-final against New Zealand as his first appearance, and that wasn't terribly happy. But boy, is he enjoying this night out in Wrexham.
Neat finish, but yet again, wonderful work from Terry Newton. He's been the reason why the forwards has been getting over the advantage line in the second half. He's controlled things in and around the dummy area, and it was so important that he had to look for a big game, and he's coming to his own in the second stanza, and I'm sure that would have impressed David Waite, and rightly so. A hat-trick for Paul Sculthorpe.
Well, he looks a little more content now, David Waite, on the left of your screen. Andrew Farrell then, 4 from 6, this for 5 from 7. And a 23-38 lead for England. And 23-38 it is, but not the cakewalk many people expected and predicted. But Paul Sculthorpe, Steve-O, what a season this young fellow is having. He was our guest on Rugby League World a week ago tomorrow night. He's only 23. This is his 4th England international, 12 Great Britain caps. A glorious talent that we've got.
Sure has, but we have to create the space for him to produce such skills. And they did a fine effort, did the Welsh side in that first half. But you must lay the platform. And I'm sure the Australians watching this would realise, they say, well, the Welsh didn't allow him much time to move around. We certainly won't in the Ashes series. And David Waite, he knows exactly what's needed, and he'll be pleased with his second half performance because it's been far more aggressive. They've wanted to work for each other, and like the Welsh side in the first half, they're playing as a team, though not on that occasion.
Well, they are there in numbers to pick up the mistakes. And here is Sculthorpe again, and this fellow has just scored his 3rd hat-trick out of 8 games. Now Sinfield. Good ball to Farrell.
Is replaced by...
Here's Sculthorpe again at the heart of the action. Remember, nobody has ever scored more than 4 tries for England, and it has lost it. Wales have got it back.
Plenty of time too. It really has been a more aggressive performance by the men in white and red.
Yes, they're in the face of the Welsh now, aren't they? It's a bit easier, I suppose, when you're ahead on the scoreboard, but they've had to dig deep. Kieran Cunningham's away. He's off again, this fellow. We talk about talent, this bloke's got it in abundance. What a run.
Well, I thought at one point he was going to take the referee with him as well. He nearly went through the entire English squad, but I may as well take the referee.
This is Whittle!
Oh, so close.
Just short. They've got tackles in the bag, though. And they're in here. It's Morley. Chris Morley. Chris Morley of Lee Centurions. A try against England at the Arms Park in June 5 years ago, and he's added to that tally now. 10 minutes to go, and Wales aren't finished yet. And well, watch this.
It didn't surprise me that this fella, Kieran Cunningham, started the game at loose forward, now slotted in to his favourite position. He knows that the man who tried to tackle him on that occasion there, Terry Newton, is having a wow of a game in the second half. And that was good work, nice work there. Two props combining, Mason back on the inside to Whittle. They've certainly worked hard at the two forwards. Neat little pass out wide. Oh, that is good work. Good build-up. They've every right to feel proud of themselves, the guys in the red jumpers.
Yes, it was scored by Morley. It was created by the run from Cunningham. And it might be converted now by Lee Breers. He's pulled it wide. He's missed a couple. 27-38. But there's talk, Steve-O, of the Rugby Football League ring-fencing the top international players in the game. And I tell you something, I think even you would contribute to the Kieran Cunningham Fund, wouldn't you?
I've contributed over the years, Eddie, and I will continue to do that. But when you get the atmosphere that we've got here and the feeling of the intensity, it really does make me smile when we see a game like this. This has really been a true international. They've given it to each other.
And he got a penalty, did Whittle. Sinfield hanging on. I wonder if that's a sign that England are running out of fuel. Wouldn't let him up, mind you. He had
Not
someone
easy,
over the
is
top
it?
of him. Yeah. This is Keith Mason now for the Welsh, and suddenly they have got their tails up. Only 8 penalties, equally shared. Whittle now for the Welsh again.
Well, the second half has shown, especially over the last 10-15 minutes, David Waite, the Great Britain coach and of course England coach tonight, he realises that it's going to be tough against those Aussies. We need aggression. You can't pussyfoot around with the Aussies. You've got to give it to them.
Yes, and this has been a good contest. The Great Britain-Australia Test Series, the coverage starts Saturday, November the 3rd on Sky Sports. It's a long, long way off, and it'll be cold that night, but it'll be white hot on the field. And there are so many players here who are making a claim for a place. Aitchison! Aitchison's over for the Welsh. Try for Paul Aitchison. So many of these reputations are being ripped to shreds by the Welsh. And Paul Aitchison in that witness team on Saturday. There's his club coach. And Aitchison over for the try. That means that the Welsh are not out of this yet.
Sometimes you can stand tall in your boots, and you do. Good work yet again from Ian Watson. Run through the dummy half, and then this guy had a big one. The fullback, Mark Lennon. They will not give in. The hooker did exceptionally well, so did Aitchison. It's brought pride back into the international scene.
Breers makes no mistake this time, and it's 33-38. It's 6 tries to 7 in England's favour. David Waite, he knows he has been given a real examination by Neil Kelly and the Welsh.
Well, he's
They're a converted try away.
David Waite, of course, cannot lose because he knows that this Welsh outfit have really taken it to them. They've given him a good workout on this English side. And if anybody out there thinks that they're just going to walk into that Great Britain jumper, they better start having second thoughts. You've got to earn it, boy. Because some of the egos out there, as I said, especially in the first half, severely dented by some unknowns out there, including this fella.
Yes, David Whittle. Well, yesterday, when the Welsh assembled to select their side for this match, they had 6 withdrawals, and they just scoured the country for Welsh-eligible players. And
that's a high shot there.
Yeah, King on Mason, but haven't they performed with credit? And look at this fella, the way he has plundered everything from the English. Kieran Cunningham.
Well, you talk about value for money, and we've certainly got that tonight.
Here goes Cunningham again. Oh, he's given him the knock on.
Yeah,
it came off
forward.
Stefan Hughes.
We often talk about...
Yeah, it was forward.
Yeah, just slightly. We often talk about the effect it can have when you look down at that badge irrespective of which country you play for. The odd tear runs down the cheek, but when it's out there, you've got to give it your best, and it's no place for the faint-hearted. And he's done his job. He's worked hard, Nathan Sykes, in this second half.
Brian McDermott goes off. Nathan Sykes is the man who has replaced him. And here come England again with Senior. And Senior has broken through. Great tackle again by Lennon. What an international debut he's had. Deacon to Sykes. Mason got to him, just halted him. And then he was finished off by Ian Watson. Newton, Farrell back on the inside to Anderson. Fearsome sight. Newton again. Farrell once more. England looking to finish it. Sinfield, Radlinski. They're in. Wellens with the try, given by Monsieur Thierry Alibert. Maybe that's the moment then England can claim the victory in this international. But when you talk about value for money, it's taken them 75 minutes to win this.
Quick ball, and there you see Price utilised as that dummy run. It was enough. Radlinski offloading, and Wellens in for the try. On with the fullback Wellens acting out on the right wing for this second half. And that's a good move. The combination of the two three-quarters, one coming back on the inside as a dummy, allowed Wellens a chance. Anguish on the face of Lee Briers, but what a match he has had.
I think Briers was receiving a bit of treatment when that try was scored, albeit over on the other side of the field.
Well, he should get the freedom of the city tonight, Lee Briers.
Farrell with the conversion attempt. He hits the post again. That's the third time, I think, he's hit the woodwork tonight. 42-33. I don't know whether Andy Farrell can speak French or Monsieur Alibert can speak Wigan, but they're having a good old chat there on the way back. There's the try scorer, Paul Wellens.
Yeah, it'd be nice to hear the Frenchman say over there.
How many pies?
And have you not? Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah, only just.
From both sides. And especially, we should get a very, very smug look on the face of David Wade, because this has been a tough one.
Yes, it has. Very tough. Here is Anderson. Well, the Australians, they know about this fellow Anderson, and fear is the wrong word to use, but they will be wary of him for the Ashes series. Let's only hope that he stays injury-free.
Well, he's been excellent in parts, and he's shown his strength there.
Here he is again. Great offload. Sykes. Sykes just couldn't get the ball away. Good ball and all tackle from Cunningham.
But to be fair, Paul Anderson, he really has not shaded his two opposite prop forwards, Mason and Whittle. They've taken it to them. They've had a great game, the two prop forwards. And the Welsh jumper.
Gibson did well then to keep that ball on the right side of the try line. And England now were not standing square. Penalty to Wales. Well, 39-42 would be very nice for Neil Kelly.
Well, you know, Eddie, they gave them no opportunity at all. No chance, did they, before the kick-off?
They were the no-hopers. Even the bookies had them with a 49-point start, the Welsh. Neil Kelly's men have turned that on its head, and generally the bookies never get it wrong.
Well, many a fan in this ground and at home, they'll be looking, you know, who are these guys, you know? And they have just produced a magnificent effort. A fine effort from England in the second half. But what a tester.
Yes, and it's been a great game from start to finish, and they're not done yet. Here comes Lee. Jason Lee, and a flying tackle it had to be from Sinfield.
Could have been a penalty there. Mason was held back.
They're looking to end the match here with a try, and they've got men out wide. Cunningham, out the back door it goes. This is Gibson. And England scrambling back in defence. Cunningham, that ball's knocked back. It's going to be 6 to go.
Now then, was it knocked down?
It was.
The referee hasn't signalled yet. Yes, he has now.
So they will have the ball in their hand for the last 20 seconds. Can they get over the line for one last try? Mason drives it in. This is probably maybe this one and one more play the ball. Cunningham. Breers tried to slide the kick through, hacked it forward, and Radlinski allows the ball to go dead as Lennon was hunting. There's the final siren. An absolutely wonderful night's entertainment here in North Wales at the Racecourse Ground, Wrexham. Lee Breers has had another fabulous night in the Welsh jersey. But England have won in the end, and David Wade has got an awful lot to think about between now and November the 3rd. And there are one or two Welsh players who have given him a nudge. Kieran Cunningham, well, his name was almost in, I would think, in ink. But there are a few others that you would have said were no-hopers before the start of this match, who have made David Wade think that perhaps they can do a job for the national side come November. Neil Kelly, he is the Welsh coach, a very proud man, I'm sure, and he is with Bill.
Neil, very proud, but I should imagine very frustrated because you pushed them all the way tonight.
Well, I think the overall thing is we are very, very proud. If people had seen the preparation we'd had for this game and the way we've had to pull a side in at the last minute, they'd be amazed. I think nobody had any right to believe we could have put a performance in like that. But given we created that situation and we've got his noses in front, obviously a little bit frustrated that we haven't been able to finish the job.
And listen, I mean, this reaction is fantastic, isn't it? All the talk about Welsh Rugby League is flagging. This must do your heart good.
Well, we keep saying it, when these Welsh lads pull that shirt on, they grow another, they grow another foot, they get another yard of face, and they certainly do it proud.
And one or two of them will have pushed themselves into Great Britain contention tonight, I should think.
Well, I certainly would hope so on today's performance.
Thanks, Neil.
Yes, well done, Neil Kelly. A job very well done. The grand final success on Saturday now confined to the memory bank. The man who succeeded Clive Griffiths has got off to a glorious defeat. England have won by 42 points to 33 here at the Racecourse Ground, but a match that, well, really proves that rugby league in the Principality is alive, well and kicking, and it has been absolutely terrific value for money, fabulous entertainment, and Wales against England have done the great game proud. A wonderful effort from Wales, but the English, they're the victors. And David Waite is the England coach with Bill.
David, what's your reaction to that performance, that result?
Yeah, it was a spirited game of rugby league. It was obviously great for the sport. And I was pleased with the English response. I think it was 32-10 in the second half, and it needed to be. Nothing shocked anybody. They're a passionate rugby league team, and an absolute tribute to their preparation and given their circumstances, and a disappointing start once again from England, but they got back on the road and played some good football. So a great game of rugby league.
I think you were looking for a bit more desire in the second half. You got that?
Oh, a little bit more passion would be nice, and was the attitude I was looking for, as I mentioned before the game. And obviously I was disappointed with some in the first half, but it improved a touch in the second.
Thanks very much, David. Thanks.
Well, he's a very laid-back character, David Waite, and we'll no doubt hear more about this match and this night as the months go on. But still to come tonight on Sky Sports 1 Now Live cricket from the Norwich Union League, Worcester against Durham. Sky Sports 2 Now Live darts, day 3 of the World Match Play 2001. And there's golf coming up on Sky Sports 3 at 11:30, the Battle of the Bighorn, featuring Tiger Woods, David Duval, Carrie Webb and Annika Sorenstam. And coming up this weekend, 3 more live matches of Rugby League. Castleford St Helens at the Jungle, 7:30, Sky Sports 1 Friday. And then a double dose on Sky Sports 3 on Saturday, 10:30 in the morning, the Northern Eagles and Melbourne Storm. And Warrington against Bradford from Wilderspool, 6 o'clock on Saturday night. All that still to come here on Sky Sports. What a night we've had here in Wrexham. England got to the pace of this match in the end, a fine second half performance from them, and a festival of tries to lay before the Principality. 33-42, England win.
Remember Remember when the mullets were as bad as the chat-up lines?
You should view the items with me tomorrow after I take you to lunch.
When Pammy burst onto the set of Baywatch.
The first few years of Baywatch, people around the world thought those breasts were real.
And this song was #1 for 16 weeks.
You are torturing us here.
This is what we were watching 10 years ago. TV years 1991. Tomorrow at 9, Sky 1.
What started as a scribble took 5 years to refine. But its flowing lines are not just for show. They create more space, improve acoustics, and increase visibility. But then, we're not the only ones to appreciate the beauty of a sweeping curve.
My bank said it was keen to fund growth and offered me new business a working capital facility repayable on demand.
And my bank pulled the plug without any warning.
My bank said it had introduced a sliding scale fee policy for face-to-face business advice.
What's very important for us is face-to-face business advice. Oh, what a lovely cactus.
And then my bank charged a fortune just to see my manager.
My bank said it had streamlined its branches for my benefit and convenience. And guess what? That's right, my bank is now a...
None of my business, dear, but I suggest you try another bath.
Our low electricity prices are now even lower. Whatever it is, nearly 2 million people have come back home to British Gas.
Define dry fuzzy curls. Pantene Pro V introduces Perfect Curls Conditioner. The Pantene Pro V moisturizing formula makes even dry, unruly curls look healthier, more defined, and with up to 70% less frizz. So healthy looking, you'll love your hair. Pantene Pro V Perfect Curls Collection.
Compaq is more than just a logo on the BMW Williams F1 car. The engineers use Compaq ProLiant servers with Intel Pentium 3 Xeon processors, which give instant access to performance data, enabling them to experience the ride from thousands of miles away, and Frank Williams to realize the team's ambition of winning the World Championship again. Business solutions from Compaq.
Darling, I'm sure Darren will still be there. Let's hope Dad gets home soon.
Oh, you don't understand, Mum.
No, she's right. I don't understand. Well, we don't have any breakdown cover. I looked into the AA. They've got twice as many patrols as the others and hardly any difference in price. Oh, and then the phone rang. I think it was Darren. I mean Darren, or Emma. I just wish I'd joined when I was sat at home like you are.
Join the AA now for the special price of only £38. Call 0800 444 999.
Well, a sensational international here at the Racecourse Ground Wrexham. Wales have lost it by 33 points to 42, but absolutely fantastic, priceless entertainment. And the man of the match, who goes home with the Tissot watch, is Lee Briers of Wales, so some consolation for Lee. Here he is talking to Bill.
Lee, congratulations on man of a fantastic match, but just not fantastic enough for Wales.
No, I'd like to thank Tissot, but no, it's the same again. We did it against Australia and we never come up trumps, and we've done it against England, never come up trumps. But we're proud of the lads. I think somebody now's got to recognise that the passion in Wales it's unbelievable. We've got to get a team down here.
And you've defied the critics again, written off before this game. You pushed England all the way.
Yeah, we had I think seven dropped out yesterday, so there's lads that we only just met yesterday, so the lads all got together and we knew it was going to be tough, but we still know that we could win it. So it's just disappointing that we got so near, but yet so far.
Well done anyway, thanks.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
Well said, Lee. And Wendy Parkin of Bradford, I think that's the second Bradford winner in a row on our man of the match. She picked the winner, and you're off to the grand final. Wendy, enjoy it. I'm sure you've enjoyed this. Let's hear now from England's hero with 3 tries, Paul Sculthorpe.
Paul, do you think you made life difficult for yourselves?
Yeah, it was certainly a poor first half. You know, the lads were disappointed at half time. You know, we had a chat and we knew we had to turn things around. 32-10 second half, I think it's a decent result.
Do you think you took Wales lightly, or did they just come at you all guns blazing?
All credit to them. You know, they certainly show passion when they play. You know, and they come out and they played a great game. You know, Lee Breers with the kicking game. You know, I think we had 3 dropouts in the first 3 sets and we didn't have the ball. You know, and when teams are doing that, there's nothing you can do. You know, you just got to keep control of the ball and play out your sets of 6. You know, we didn't do that and they made us play.
Thanks, Paul.
Cheers, Bill.
Well, he came up with a hat-trick, didn't he, Paul Sculthorpe? He's ended up on the winning side, but I think, Steve, the body language says it all. England are certainly not pleased with their evening's work, but Wales, well, they will be thrilled.
Yeah, England would be disappointed, especially in that first half, because the forwards, especially the Welsh forwards in that first half, they just took them apart. There was only one side in it, and it needed a real uplift from the English in that second stanza, and it came with the try from Farrell, produced by Newton. I thought Newton played exceptionally well in the second half. But wouldn't it have changed things if they could just have got hold of this? Breers, the chip over, he elected to kick, and you could see he had men outside and inside. It came to nothing in the end. And then Paul King, he created the try for Radford. He had a big game, Paul King. Beautiful offload through there. But this really just summed it up for the Welsh. They were still in the lead by 1. And Gibson played the ball to nobody, just a lack of concentration. And there was little doubt in my mind that from there on in, when it was Pratt who finished up scoring this try, they were running out of numbers. Farrell did everything right to put them in the lead for the very first time. The heads went down, or so we thought, but full credit to this Welsh outfit. A lot of people thought even then that it would be England that would just run away with it. Okay, they scored 3 more tries, but full credit to the Welsh. They fought back and scored 2 tries on the death.
And a lot of the Welsh, I'm sure, will have maybe pushed David Waite and Brian Noble and the Great Britain manager Phil Clark into maybe putting the names down on paper for the test squad that will be announced first 32 on Thursday. Phil, have you had any players in the Welsh jersey who maybe have changed your mind?
Well, it's been a fantastic night, and I think a very successful night for everybody involved in British Rugby League, and in particular the Great Britain side. Now the squad of 32 announced on Thursday morning, and I think it's an exciting start. Now I think tonight really the atmosphere in the stadium, you touched on it, was fantastic, and I hope that really ignites people now to get behind the Ashes series, get the tickets, because we need the support. Great Britain side, whatever it turns out to be, need a good atmosphere in there with people really getting behind the side. And you know, luckily tonight was a great close game, and the squad now is all set really to be announced.
I tell you what, Phil, you should stand for a Member of Parliament, because you've not answered the question at all there. You've dodged it brilliantly.
Well, the squad really will ultimately be determined by David Waite, it's really in his central hands to dictate the squad. But we've got some pretty talented players and some new players who showed up well tonight. I think we've all touched on the fact that Keith Mason, one of the younger players, he came in and played well, and there's 1 or 2 others as well.
Well done, Phil. You've finally got a name or 2 in the end. I'll give it to Steve-O then. There must be some Welsh hearts there that are going to be beating for Britain.
Oh, without a doubt. I thought Whitland Mason, especially in the first half, they really stuck to it. They got into their faces, and the fullback Mark Lennon, he'll certainly figure in mind if I was a selector.
Well done, Steve-O. Some more Welsh names there, but don't forget you'll be able to reflect this and take a look at maybe some more predictions for the Test selection. Wednesday, 8:30, Sky Sports 3 Rugby League World, and then we've got a big weekend coming.